Good morning, everyone. This is Lotus with Art of Sacred Embodiment. So, I wanted to talk a little bit today about the deeper, darker, shadowy programs right now that many of us are going through via the impact of the coronavirus. So, what I've been doing lately is wanting to express that there are three different views that we can um, attune our vision. There's the mouse that runs through the field that can only see what's in front of him because all of the grasses are just way too high. So his vision is very limited, and he has the mouse. The mouse has that survival mode, the fight or flight. That's very, very strong. Probably not a lot of fight, mostly flight. So the mouse kind of scurries, just trying to get from safety to safety. The songbird has a higher view. The songbird can see the mouse, can see the blue skies that maybe the mouse can't, can feel the sun, sees a little bit more and feels a little bit more of the freedom as it flits from tree to tree, singing its song, addressing threats of perhaps other more dominant creatures or dominant birds that want to vie for territory or are predatorial. Then they address accordingly, right? So they are in the moment, they address what has to happen accordingly. Either they leave the territory, or I don't really know all the things that birds will do. But then they go back to their life, right? They go back to whatever is present in their reality. And then there's the eagle. The eagle flies way above and has access to all of the viewpoints. So that kind of access gives that eagle more freedom, more wisdom, more clarity. The eagle can see all of the other beings beneath. He can actually see what's going to happen with the mouse, maybe even before the mouse can, because he can see maybe other predators coming in the direction of the mouse. So what we're wanting to do during this time is free ourselves as much as possible from being the mouse and begin to access the songbird, and better yet, the eagle view, right? So we want to do the necessary things within the songbird consciousness. We want to take care of ourselves. We want to practice safety. We want to keep the distance. We want to support our family and friends and communities in whatever way that we can. Also, by maintaining our clarity, our energy field, that we want to keep cohesive and strong so that we can actually be of greater assistance. And then we want to also continue to rise above the fray that is happening. So I want to address all of these levels, and I want to try to do it briefly. So humanity has been governed subconsciously by a system that has created an abundance of scarcity and survival mechanisms to be functioning all the time. So, and we have a great depth of fear of death. Okay? So right now, for many people, our livelihoods have been taken away, our jobs have been taken away. Most of the country, or at least a good deal of the country, lives paycheck to paycheck. So the effects of what's happening right now is not a small thing for families, for individuals, let alone the state of health of a wide scope of the population as well. Where we've gotten healthier over the years for sure, And we also have a lot of marketing and programming that has conditioned us to be unhealthy in a variety of ways. So that we have compromised immunity, right, and compromised systems, which then lead to more fear and stress in our bodies. And I guess in there we could also say that we have been conditioned to a very highly stressed, overactive nervous system in fight or flight as a way of being. So, in many ways, we have not been prepared mentally, emotionally, or physically for the events unfolding right now. So, I want to address those that are really feeling the impact on their survival. So, survival is a first chakra, a root chakra consciousness. So we could say that our survival and our scarcity and our need to be in the known, right? In stability. We want to know what's happening. We want to have a sense of control. All of that is our first chakra, our root chakra. So we've sort of been torn up by the roots, right? Which is a very destabilizing place to be. So first of all, we want to realize this, right? We want to bring our conscious awareness to all of the minute details of what we're experiencing and why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. So if we're at the perspective of the mouse is in a lot of fear right now, and the mouse is scrambling for the survival, and maybe he's lost track for whatever way of where his home is, his burrow, his safe place. So that is, we can look at that as, that is an old consciousness that is being cleared. It's being cleared from our system. But if we don't recognize it's being cleared from our system, is all we know is that we are in fear and we are in survival and scarcity mode. So I'm not going to go into how this is in our system and all of the programming of humanity on all of these deep layers in this, but I talk about it in other videos on programming or deprogramming on my YouTube channel. So this is what we can start calling the collective shadow work, meaning those things that cause fear, that cause discomfort, that cause anxiety, those things that bring up our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, as well as those parts of ourselves that we would rather not look at or address or see, that we judge, that we have shame about. All of this is what's bubbling to the surface right now. This is what happens for any awakening process. So when I'm talking about a spiritual awakening, there's the initial levels of awakening where we're tapping into a greater flow. We're learning how to expand. We're utilizing yoga, meditation, spiritual practices and teachings to bring about safety, calm, peace. All of that is a part of the spiritual awakening. The deeper work happens when we enter into a night of the soul. Okay? This is what's happening right now. That has been the gift and the curse, depending on your perspective, of the coronavirus. Any spiritual awakening, when it hits the fire of purification, is going to go through having to face all of these programs that we have been living by and conditioned to rely on. These same programs have programmed us into being on a hamster wheel that does not serve our well-being, our consciousness, our connection to God, source, the divine, whatever we want to call it. And let's just narrow it in right now on our basic needs being met by having employment and a source of money and income. Okay? So the root cause, even deeper, of all of this is death. If I don't have what I need, on some level, on multiple levels, we truly will experience a psychic or death to our egoic structure. But ultimately, what we are terrified of is the reality of death, caused by the virus, caused by being homeless, and perhaps, not having resources and ending up very sick. And in the very resources or recesses of our minds, of the reptilian brain, is death. So I'm bringing this up not because I want to be all doom and gloomy, but because it's a very deep reality that we as humanity have an opportunity to let go of and shift out of. But whenever we are going through a big clearing, purification, cleansing, or release, we are going to re-experience or experience what we have been suppressing or unaware of. It's going to come up to the surface, and we're going to feel it as if that survival, if we don't have that, something really bad is going to happen to us, to our loved ones. So what I want to bring our attention to is that we have to become conscious of these fears. We have to know that this is what's driving the nervous system and our body to be highly reactive and to become more stressed and not be able to see the songbird view. Okay? When we're in the reptilian brain, we cannot access higher levels of thinking and problem solving. So what we want to do is recognize, oh, okay, all of this is bringing up my basic need to survive and to live. And when we're plugged into the news, when we're plugged into the media's job, and I'm not saying the media, I'm saying those that govern the media, their job is to keep us in this level of fear. So they are going to feed us all of the terror and the hardships to continue to ignite these deep levels. Now, this can be a blessing if we use it consciously in order to unplug from it, to realize that we're only experiencing this because this energy, frequency, and quality lives in us. So I want you just to think about that for a moment. The stories, the qualities of this energy, the fears live in us. It's not coming from outside of us. It's being triggered from outside of us to make us aware of what is in us. So how can we know this is true? Well, one way we can know that it's true is that we can take two examples of a consciousness that lives inside one person who has moderate resources to move forward and perhaps not a way to receive more resources. And then we can take another consciousness in a person who has even less resources and has no way to get more resources. And the one who has more resources may feel more fearful. The one who has no resources may not have any fear at all. They may not feel this scarcity at all. They may not resonate with that reality at all. Okay? This is a fact. This isn't conceptual. This is a fact based on wherever our consciousness is. So what we want to do is we want to identify, and the way that I suggest doing this is writing it down on paper. We're going to, you know what, I'm going to just kind of walk us through this really briefly as well, okay? So this is what we call doing shadow work. This is what we call getting really still and quiet with our darkness, what I call the sacred shadow, which is really what governs the majority of humanity from the subconscious unknown. And what we want to do is make it conscious. Okay, so I want you just to close your eyes for a minute, take a deep breath in. Exhale, drop down. So we're not going to go through all of the steps that I usually take my clients through right now. If you want to do the deeper work, please reach out to me, but I want to give you an overview. So take a deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Just really clear out any energy in your system. And allow each breath to just bring you down a little bit deeper into your belly. Take another breath in. And drop down. And I want you to feel your body. I want you to feel the weight of your buttocks and thighs where you're sitting. Bring all of your awareness. Put your hands on your legs and feel. In breath and out breath. And allow whatever shows up in your body to be there. Don't try to get away from it. Don't try to judge it. Don't make it bad or wrong. Even if it's uncomfortable, I'm going to invite you to allow it to be present in your system. So if you don't have pen and paper by you, you can come back to this. So I want you to bring into your awareness if you are in a position of not having steady income right now and you are worried for your family or yourself, I want you to feel where you feel that in your body. Where is the first place? And you might probably feel constriction, tension, anxiety, nervousness, pain. And I want you just to allow it to be there, and I want you to breathe into it. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to make it go away. We're going to let it be there. And then I want you to hear what your mind is saying. And it may be something like, if I don't have money, if I don't have income coming in, I can't support myself, or I can't support people that I love or help people I love. Breathe that in. Or your rendition of this. And I want you to connect to the place inside of you that might feel powerless, very vulnerable, and afraid of the unknown. You're going to feel all of it, and you're going to just allow your awareness to embrace it. We're not going to fight it. And then you're going to take another breath in. And just for this moment, you're going to surrender to the fact that only in this moment, this is the truth that you are perceiving. This is the reality that you are perceiving in this moment. Don't go beyond this moment. And then I'm going to ask you right now, in this moment, how does it feel to sit with this and just breathe with it? Begin to recognize if you have a little bit of space that's been created. A little bit more breath moving through. And then I want you to ask yourself, in this moment, am I safe? Right now, just sitting here. Most likely the answer is yes. This moment, do I have what I need? Just right now, are your needs taken care of? Most likely the answer is yes. I'll get to if it's not. And in this moment, can I feel present in my body to think more clearly and more creatively about options that I may not see when I am in the mouse mode? So just check in and see if maybe you are in the songbird mode. If you are not safe now, if you do not have exactly what you need at this moment, if you are ill, if you are in fact suffering from the virus, this is a hard one for people. I want you just to take a breath in and be present with the deep fear or doubt or grief, confusion or unknown. Just in this moment, allow yourself to feel whatever is present. And see if you have more space in your being to perhaps recognize where you can reach out, or perhaps deepen into your own self-sourcing, to your own connection to your own soul a little bit deeper. So everybody, wherever you're at, just take a deep breath in. And exhale. When we are in the dark night of the soul, when we're in the fire of transformation, the truth is sometimes we cannot see outside of the tall grasses. That is a very real part of the transformational process, because that means we are in a state of psychic death, emotional death, mental death, egoic structure death. And it is only from there that a new energy, a new consciousness, a new life force is birthed. By being present with what is in this moment, because this is all that we have, is this moment. And we're seeing that more and more. It is by being conscious of our fears, experiencing them, acknowledging them, looking for a solution from a higher vantage point, or sometimes waiting for a deeper knowing to arise, a deeper clarity or a deeper connection to our own life force wisdom. This is the time that we're in. We're not all going to be faced with the virus, or even loss of our homes or food, even though some may teeter. But the more conscious we are on what is creating our fear, the more that we can assist the release of the old programs and tap into the consciousness of those who do not hold this consciousness in their body. If we do not hold certain consciousnesses in our body, in our energy centers, if we don't hold that frequency, we will not resonate with the fear. This is what the ascension is teaching us. This is what ascension and awakening is teaching us. We do not have to carry density of fear and our death anymore. Deaths. And we do not have to be disempowered by our fears, but we have to become conscious of them and experience them at least momentarily, to identify them and to consciously release them. So this has gone on longer because I really wanted, I felt called to walk you through a process to hopefully empower everybody from wherever you're at. And if you have everything that you need and you know that, and you are vibrating in a space of expansion and knowing that everything is perfect and everything is aligning in the highest good, send out that gratitude on a daily basis. Send out that faith and trust. Send out that love. Send out that vibration over and over and over again for the collective, for those of us who are not feeling empowered in that way and are not aware of the consciousness that we can tap into, but we have to choose to tap into it. So those of us who are holding that vibration, we are holding it for those who cannot right now. Okay? And be conscious when we dip. It's okay if we dip. It's part of our continuing along this journey. But just know that you're dipping. Know when you're in the mouse. And try to access Songbird, right? Identify why you're in the mouse, which will give you that lift. Consistently become more aware so that we become the eagle. Okay? So that's the hope. That's the prayer. That's the reality of this time, is that we are moving to Songbird and to eagle. But we have to know that we've been programmed, and we have to know that we can be empowered to deprogram ourselves. And if you don't know how to do that, then there are amazing light workers and way showers that have the tools and skills to assist you in this process. That's what we're here for. Okay? So you can find me at lotuslindley.net. You can find me on Facebook at Lotus Lindley, or Lotus Lindley Art of Sacred Embodiment. Please subscribe to the YouTube channels, because my information is kind of divided through all of these. And if you want to be on my newsletter list, then please, you can subscribe through my through my website, or you can contact me personally. All right. Blessings, everyone. Sending out lots of love, lots of peace, lots of hope, lots of of excitement for the new realities that are being created based on our freedom, our sovereignty, and our accessing higher consciousness. All right.